Been a while since I done one of these, and welcome to another episode of DUNE Vlogs, where I talk about everything and anything about DUNE. And today we're going to be talking about everybody's favorite sword master, Duncan Idaho. For those of you that don't know, Duncan Idaho is basically the sword master of the House Atreides. He served under Duke Atreides and was the weapons instructor for Paul Atreides until he has to go to Arrakis. Idaho was sent as an ambassador to the Fremen in the hopes that they will join them in the war that they will have with the Harkonnens. Then the dreaded attack on House Atreides has begun. Duncan survives the attack and managed to save both Lady Jessica and Paul while they were stranded in the desert. But when Paul and Jessica winds up being trapped in Leah Kynes' botanical gardens and with the charter card closing in, Duncan decided to make his last stand there, giving Jason Momoa probably one of the most badass scenes of any movie I've ever seen him in. Duncan defended Paul and Lady Jessica to the very end and died in the line of duty. But when Dune came out, Duncan became such a popular character with the readers that Frank Herbert decided that the best thing to do was to bring him back for the sequel, as a Ghola. Gholas are artificially created humans that were replicated from the cells of a dead person that were created by the Tleilaxu, which would explain why Duncan was brought back in Dune Messiah, which he had no memory of his previous life and when he was going by the name Hate. Or is it Height? I don't even know. I don't know how to pronounce these words. Just let me know in the comments if I said it right. But this Ghola was created and given to Paul Atreides as a gift, when in reality the Tleilaxu was pretty much using him as a means to kill Paul. And even though Paul knew that this was a trap, he still accepted the Ghola as a gift anyway. And during his time on Arrakis, he would soon fall in love with Paul's sister, Alia of the Knife, which by the end of the book, Duncan would soon regain his memories. While at the same time, the twins of both Paul Atreides and Chani are born, and a blinded Paul Atreides wanders into the desert in order to be eaten by sandworms, as were the customs of the Fremen. And in Children of Dune, it gets a lot crazier. Alia would soon become an abomination, and would be tortured by the ego memory of Baron Vladimir Harkonnen, who would then try to use Alia to rule the Empire from beyond the grave. Duncan realizes this, and his plan was to make sure that the twins are taken to someplace safe. In order to do this, he had to get Stilgar to turn against Alia and to join the Fremen opposition to her rule. He did this by killing Javed, who was Alia's lover, on the neutral ground of Siege Tabé, which goes against the Fremen customs. Stilgar was understandably pissed about this, but Duncan wasn't done. He insulted his Stilgar so badly to the point where Stilgar had no other choice but to kill him for that insult. And just as he figured, his second death would make the Fremen go against Alia's reign. And Stilgar, realizing what he's done, decided to take his Fremen band as well as Ganima and go into the desert, away from Alia's rule. And that was the second death of Duncan Idaho, but apparently Herbert's not done with him because he came back and got Emperor of Dune, which during this time, one of the twins, Leto II, aka the Tyrant, had transformed himself into a half-man, half-sandworm. And during this time, he has made dozens of Gholas based around Duncan Idaho. And throughout Leto's 3,500-year reign, every time when a Ghola of Duncan dies, he always replaces it with a new one. And if that wasn't crazy enough, each Ghola will wind it up pretty much shacking up with somebody else and wind up having kids by that Ghola. And the reason why he brought Duncan back is because of the fact that not only was Duncan so important to the Golden Path, but because Duncan was probably the most important as well as the most loyal member of the Atreides family. But whenever a Duncan Ghola winds up getting their memory back, they're disgusted with the way that House Atreides has fallen. Duncan was a man of honor, loyalty, and to see House Atreides fallen so far deep into corruption just displeases him. And each time a Ghola comes to that realization, they would die of natural causes, which is a load of crap. We already know Leto killed him. This last Ghola, however, would team up with Siona Atreides, who was a descendant of one of the past Duncan Gholas. Yeah, I know, it's insane, but bear with me on this one. Duncan would then take part in the assassination of Leto II, as he, Siona, and the rest of the rebellion would destroy the bridge over Idaho River, which would cause the God Emperor to fall to his death. After that, Duncan and Siona were going to have 9 daughters, in which he shows up as a Ghola again in Heretics of Dune, which pretty much cemented his status as being the author's favorite, being that he's the only character to ever show up in all 6 books. But anyway guys, what are your thoughts on Duncan Idaho? Or better yet, what's your favorite Duncan Idaho moment? It could be from the books, it could be from the movies, the miniseries. Whatever your thoughts, comment down below, let me know, and I'll catch you guys in the next one.